It is my honor to introduce one of the most generous and most loved men ever associated with the game of baseball. He's going to bat leadoff today. A player and manager in the Negro Leagues, he's an American treasure. And baseball and all Americans are better off because of the sunshine he spreads. His always inspiring and always positive message. Please join me in welcoming my good friend, heck, everybody's good friend, Buck O'Neil.
And I tell you what, they always say to me, Buck, I know you hate people for what they did to you or what they did to your folks. I said, no, man, I never learned to hate. I hate cancer. Cancer killed my mother. My wife died 10 years ago of cancer. I'm single, ladies. A good friend of mine, I hate AIDS. A good friend of mine died of AIDS 3 months ago. I hate AIDS. But I can't hate a human being because my God never made anything ugly. Now, you can be ugly if you want a boy, but God didn't make you that way. So, I want you to light this valley up this afternoon. Martin said agape is understanding, creative, a redemptive goodwill toward all men. Agape is an overflowing love which seeks nothing in return. And when you reach love on this level, you love all men. Not because you like them, not because their ways appeal to you, but you love them because God loved them. And I love Jehovah my God with all my heart, with all my soul, and I love every one of you as I love myself. I'm not too much of a singer. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. We'll root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes you out at the old ball game.
And now we are at the grave, final resting spot of the great John Buck O'Neil. And it says down here, it says, if I'm a Hall of Famer for you, that's all right with me. Just keep loving old Buck. Don't weep for Buck. No, man. Be happy. Be thankful. And of course, there's a rubber ducky and some baseballs. But this man did a lot. He has quite a story. He did a lot for the colored players of his time. And he actually helped found the Negro League Baseball Museum in 1991. Now, let's see. Just a beautiful grave. We'll walk around it, and I want to see what's on the back because there is things on the back. Okay. And this is just giving a little information on him. John Buck O'Neil, born November 13th, 1911 in Carabella, Florida. His career was from 1937 to 1955. It actually went longer than that because he was a scout. He was the position of first base, outfield, manager. The teams was the Memphis Red Sox and the Kansas City Monarchs. He bat right, he threw right. His height was 6'2" and he was 190. And this is just a little timeline of his. In 1937, he played for the Memphis Red Sox. In 1938 to 1955, he was a player/manager for the Kansas City Monarchs Negro League baseball team. Sorry, guys. In 1943 to 45, he served in the U.S. Navy in World War II. In 1946, he was a league-leading 353 batting average. I believe that was in the Negro Leagues. 1947, he posted a career best 358 batting average. And then 1955, he became the scout for the Chicago Cubs. Now, he was a scout from 55 to 1988 for the Cubs. In 62, he was named Major League's first black coach of the Chicago Cubs. In 81 through 2001, he was a member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame Veterans Committee. In 1990, he was a co-founder of the Negro League Baseball Museum. That's what that is, okay. He was a chairman. In 98, he was named the Midwest Scout of the Year. In 2006, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. In 2007, he was National Baseball Hall of Fame establishes the Buck O'Neil Lifetime Achievement Award. And this monument was a gift of the Negro League Museum. Okay, so at the age of 12, Buck, he was already playing semi-pro baseball for the Sarasota Tigers. He also played ball for the Edwards Waters College because he wasn't allowed to go to high school in the town that he lived in because it was for the whites only. So he had to go to a college where they had high school classes that he could take. In 1933, Buck joined his first fully pro team, the Tampa Bay Smokers. He played for them for a short time before joining the Miami Giants. And at the time, during the Negro Leagues, a lot of teams were named the Giants. And this was kind of a pretty crappy thing, that the reason why this happened. It's because mostly, if not all, most papers that were white-owned would not post pictures. They wouldn't post a lot of things about Negro League players. So most of those teams were just called the Giants in the newspapers. In 1937, he signed with the Memphis Red Sox, a team in the Negro American League. He left mid-season to join the Zulu Cannibal Giants. And during this time, in that era, you could jump teams in the Negro League. You could play, a month or two from what I researched, and you could leave. You could go to a different team for higher pay. And this is where Buck got the nickname. The team's promoter confused him with the owner of the Miami Giants owner, whose name was Buck O'Neil, and it kind of stuck. So that's where he got the nickname Buck. In 1938, he began playing for Kansas City Monarchs, and he remained with the team as a player and a manager from 1938 to 55, except for the 2 seasons that he spent in the Navy in World War II. On Easter Sunday, 1943, Buck had the best game of his career. In his first at-bat, he hit a double. Then his next at-bat, he hit a single. Then he hit a home run. And then on his 4th plate appearance, he hit a ball so hard enough that it could have been an inside-the-park home run. But he stayed on third, so that way he could actually hit for the cycle. Now, in 1955, Buck left the Negro Leagues to work as a scout for the Chicago Cubs. In 1962, he was named a coach for the Chicago Cubs, becoming the first African American to coach for a major league team. He went back to scouting for the Cubs from 64 till 88 when he retired. However, after he retired, Royals general manager asked Buck to scout for Kansas City, which he did for quite some time as a special assignment scout. Now, Buck was known to scout some pretty good players, and his baseball intelligence was really good, and that's why he was such a great scout. Buck was known to be a top-tier scout. He was a very intelligent scout, and he signed quite a few notable athletes, because I'm a Cubs fan, and he got us some good ones. Like, he scouted Ernie Banks and signed Ernie Banks, Ernie Banks is the greatest Cub probably ever. Mr. Cub, let's play two. That was his motto. Let's play two. He was always loving baseball. Now, he also scouted Lou Brock for the Cubs, who eventually went on and become a Cardinals legend. And he also scouted Joe Carter and signed Joe Carter to the Cubs. But what Buck really wanted, and this is what I think what's made him an amazing person, is he wanted all the Negro League players to get the same kind of recognition as the white players did, and like Jackie Robinson did. He believed they all should, and that's why he started the Negro League Museum in Kansas City, which I highly recommend. It's full of a ton of information, and it's a beautiful place to go. He worked tirelessly to get Negro League players inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and the first to actually be inducted was his good friend, the great Satchel Paige. and he was inducted in 1971. And as the years went by, more and more Negro League players got inducted. It started out small and it got bigger and bigger as it went on. And he did a documentary with Ken Burns, and that's when people really, really fell in love with him. He fell in love with his character, the way that he talked. It was a baseball documentary by Ken Burns called Baseball. And there was a lot of outrage after he passed away, and there was still a lot of outrage when he was still alive that he was not in the Baseball Hall of Fame yet. And sadly, Buck passed away in October of 2006 after a long illness, a month shy of his 95th birthday. December 7th, President George W. Bush honored the late great Buck O'Neil with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor a civilian can get. And in 2007, he also received the Lifetime Achievement from the MLB, which is now named the Buck O'Neil Award. And then finally, in December 5th of 2021, Buck O'Neil was finally elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. And again, I want to say how much this man did for the game of baseball, especially the colored players. He did so much, and he was such an intelligent scout. I mean, he could see talent from a mile away. And that's why he was so good at what he did. He's a legend of Kansas City. And they have a stadium that's red, I believe, in Kauffman Stadium, which is the Buck O'Neil seat. And that is where they put people who've shown courage and bravery and things like that, much like Buck O'Neil did. And again, he did a lot for my favorite team, the Chicago Cubs, that's for sure. And a lot of the colored athletes as well. So I want to thank him, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about the great Buck O'Neil. And I suggest to visit this place because it's a beautiful final resting place. So I hope you guys have a good day, and we'll see you later.